Welcome to Manhattan Project Energy Empire. This is the 2025 version, and it's a reimagining of the beloved classic from back in 2016, Energy Empire. Now, from designers Luke Laurie, Tom Jolly, we have a cracker of a worker placement resource gathering game. So let's go get into the game and let's figure out what this old Energy Empire, what does it bring to the modern age? Now, what is Energy Empire? Well, we are post-World War II, and nations are now trying to rebuild their industry, their commerce, and their government. There's also a lot of uncertainty from the global effects from this mass industrialization and also the pollution that comes with it. Now, while science can help mitigate that pollution, unfortunately, nuclear contamination, well, that has its own more severe ramifications. In this game, we're also going to be trying to influence the UN, and we're also in the Cold War era. So we've now got espionage, and we've also got a doomsday clock to worry about. So look, let's get into how this game plays. I'm just going to go over the basics of it. Then I want to talk about the pros, the cons. I want to talk about this Cold War expansion, and I want to talk about this solo, because this solo really is going to be the highlight of this game. Welcome to New Look Energy Empire. Now, at first glance, this is quite overwhelming, a lot going on, but trust me, breaks down super simple. Over here is going to be our industry section. So we're going to have worker placement spots up here. We're also going to have structures cards that we can purchase. Now, these are mega structures. This is a part of one of the expansion modules, and there's a lot of expansion modules that you can add to the game. You're going to have here, you're going to have your commerce section, and down here is going to be your government section. So that's going to be the majority of your worker placement that you're going to be putting your workers out each turn. Up here is going to be United Nations. You're going to be trying to influence this United Nations track for more points. But as I mentioned, more modules. This version, this Kickstarter is going to have all these different modules. You want to play with this UN module right here. It's going to make this UN much more fun to play with. So that's an option there. Over here, Doomsday, another module that you can or not play with, your choice. So on this Doomsday clock, what you're going to have is you're going to have these Cold War cards, and you're going to draw 3 cards, you're going to put one underneath, then you're going to get to choose 2 of them. You're going to be putting them out, one open knowledge and one closed knowledge. This is a set collection element now. So we've got 3 different areas: space, military, and diplomatic. And we're fighting over those amongst every other player, trying to get the most points. Because why do we need that? Well, if this Doomsday clock goes all the way around, let's say it finishes up on 8, whoever wins in each of those categories is going to get 8 points, and whoever comes second will get half of those points. So another module, another way to have fun, and another way to give more variety into this game. Now over here, these are our global impacts. Now this is actually going to be our game trigger. So over the course of the game, we're going to be getting pollution onto our environment, and this is our environment on our player board here. But as we get rid of our pollution, we're going to turn over these global impacts, and we're going to have, for all the blue early ones, they're going to be positives. For all the lates, well, there's going to be a lot of negative things there, but again, just adds that variety to each game. Now let's move over to our player board. We're going to have energy dice here. These energy dice are going to help us get energy, and energy is super important. We're going to need that when we're putting out our workers and also triggering our structure cards here. So let's go do a single turn now. Let's say I want to go mining. I'm going to need steel at the moment. I really need some steel. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to get myself a steel. So let's do that. Now, because I'm in the industry section, I can now trigger any structure cards from the industry section that I have in my tableau. And I've got 2 here. So I'm going to use one of my energy here. I'm going to trigger this one right here, which gives me my second steel, which is great because I need steel for lots of things. But that's pretty much how it works. But the other way that energy works is, what if I've gone mining there? What about if my opponent wants to go to mining? Well, they can if they use an energy underneath and then they put their worker on top. As long as you've got 1 row higher, then you can go to that spot. So you're never blocked out of any spot there. So look, that's pretty much everything you need to know to just get started. Let's get into my pros and cons of this game. When I first got an Energy Empire, I asked myself a single question. Why would I want this game in my collection over thousands of other worker placement, resource gathering, tableau building games out there? Well, when I played my first game, I understood why. Mechanically, it's near on perfect. It is one of the best experiences I've had this year, and one of the best experiences I can remember in a long time in a game. Now, When you first look at it, visually, it looks messy. Visually, there's just chaos in front of you. So many worker placement spots. It's just mind-blowing, and you're like, where am I even going to start? Yet, ironically, it's one of the most streamlined worker placement games I've ever played. You put your worker out, you then trigger your structures in the matching area, and that's it, that's your turn. Even doing the generating. Generating is when you pull your workers back. Normally that's just a wasted turn. But generating in this is fun. It's where I get to roll dice. It's where I'm going to get the amount of energy I'm going to have over the next couple of turns. It's where I'm going to add pollution to my environment or maybe nuclear contamination. Generating is actually fun. It's also the time that I'm going to get agenda cards, which are my end of game bonuses. Now I've had a full 24 hours to really absorb what were the true highlights of this game, and I keep just going back to that automa, that solo. Now, there's actually 2 solos in the box, one in the original core rules and the new Clash of Nations solo, which is part of that Cold War expansion. Now, in this module, we have automa cards, which are great. So it's going to have on the top section something that the bot's going to do. Maybe it's going to get some nuclear contamination. Maybe it'll go up the UN track. Maybe it'll get some set collection points on those doomsday tracks. So a lot of great things there. But the bottom 2, that's where the magic really shines. All that's going to do is you're going to put out workers into those 2 spots. What does that do? Well, it mimics clogging up the workspace for you. When you're playing an opponent, you know that feeling when someone goes to that spot just when you're about to go there, and now you need to pay energy and you don't have the energy to pay for it, and that frustrating feel? Well, that's what the automa bot's doing, and that's why I truly love it. Now from there, all of the other modules. Now, there is so much replayability in this box because of these modules. The UN is improved. Now, instead of fighting over points, we're now fighting over these bonuses. A lot of great fun there. Mega structures. This seems so simple. There's just one of them in each of them, and you're going to be fighting over these because there is so many ongoing abilities that just seem almost overpowered. I, again, really appreciate that. We have the Cold War card. So, Doomsday Clock. Let's have a quick chat about that. Now, this doesn't work at 2 players. It's a set collection element where if you just have 2 players and you have more cards than your opponent, well, you're going to win the set collection element, so it doesn't work. Now they've come back to me and said, we've actually fixed it already. How amazing are the designers? I don't know which one was it, Luke or Tom, but well done to one of you because we have a solution now. So hear me out on this. So what we have, we still grab the 3 cards from the Doomsday Clock, the Cold War cards there. Now, remember how we used to keep one face up, we'd keep one face down, and then we would normally discard the 3rd one. Now what we're doing, that 3rd one is now going to start a 3rd player. It's brilliant. So now you've got strategy in your head. You've got to think about which one am I going to discard. Before, you just got discarded the worst card. But now you have to think about that card is now going to give the 3rd player some set collection points. And now there's actually 3 people fighting for it. The bot's fighting for those set collection points. You're fighting for it. And the 3rd player is now also fighting for it. So it actually makes it work. I am so happy right now. Just such a simple solution. That's why these guys are designers. They're good at it. Now there's also spy cards, spy espionage cards. Now, normally you can utilize your own structures and trigger them, but with your spies, you can go out to your opponents and then trigger their structures. Now, the only catch for me is it didn't work because I'm so focused on all of my structures. I'm so focused on the 13 worker placement spots on the board that I don't have time to look over the table and look at their structures. So I found I just never used it. But again, it's personal preference. Maybe you will absolutely love it. Now let's chat about the elephant in the room, and that is the new change of direction in art style. Look, if you love the original Energy Empire, then of course you're not going to like change. No one likes change, but sometimes we need change. They've gone for a circa 1960s, almost Russian propaganda look, and I kind of appreciate that because it's more thematic. So, like it or love it, we have new art style direction, but for me, I'm a big fan. Now that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about there. Look, really, if you love this game, I would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment. Have you played the original? What are your feelings on this new change of direction? But most importantly, I'm a fan of Frostbite Games for actually bringing this game back. So I now have a chance to finally play this classic Energy Empire. I'm just going to leave it at that. That felt like a good ending.
You didn't talk about timing, but that's fine.
Then what?
Talk about timing.
Just turn the camera off. Forgot to mention, one thing I really appreciate is the timing of this game. At the end of the day, how many games reach out and give you a time on the box, and it is so unrealistic. This game says 60 to 120. Every single game I played was between 75 and 90 minutes. Perfect timing, and never felt like it was that round too long. You know that feeling. It was great timing, and I just enjoyed it. That 90 minutes just went so quick. So there we go. Now I'm truly finished. Till next time, I'm Hogs. This is the Bangers Project. That was Energy Empire. Laters. Smashed it.